Science. And it isn't true that Spain is just a country that is cruel to bulls and donkeys. It can also be cruel to human beings, especially on television, and especially if they're old and helpless. A new Spanish endurance-type show, The Great Game of the Goose, takes a 74-year-old man and sees what he can stand, or indeed whether he can stand, when subjected to attacks from terrifyingly beautiful bimbos and a ferociously smiling host.
Thank you! Thank you!
The ferociously smiling host wears a dinner jacket to prove he's respectable, and he wears tennis shoes to prove he's not stuffy. Having absorbed the audience's spontaneous adulation, he explains the ordeals in store for the 74-year-old man. If the 74-year-old man survives these ordeals, he will have the chance to face the final ordeal. But first, the first ordeal. It starts in a pool full of water and terrifyingly beautiful bimbos. The 74-year-old man has to climb clear of both while being hosed on from above by persons unknown. Not many 74-year-old men will be capable of this, but our 74-year-old man has been offered a big mystery prize if he stays alive long enough to receive it. What can it be? In the second ordeal, one of the terrifyingly beautiful bimbos cements him into a tin bath and challenges him to break free. He only half succeeds, but the judges decide that the penalty for failure is not to be disqualified, which would be cruel, but to continue, which is worse. In the next ordeal, the 74-year-old man is really up against it, a terrifyingly beautiful bimbo who can fly. It is explained to the 74-year-old man that he too will be equipped with a flying harness, like the terrifyingly beautiful bimbo, and a much younger man who has built up his muscles burying the corpses of previous 74-year-old contestants. The aim of the game is to grab the terrifyingly beautiful flying bimbo and remove a token from the back of her harness, which will secure him the privilege of moving on to an ordeal even tougher on his cardiovascular system than this one. For the 74-year-old man's health prospects, it would have been better if he had failed at this point. Unfortunately for him, he succeeds. In the next ordeal, he has to go into the water in a transparent telephone booth with no bottom. Again, he is surrounded by terrifyingly beautiful bimbos, and some school children have been brought in to watch him die. His task is to remove all the rope from the spindle before the telephone booth is fully submerged and he drowns like a rat. Of the previous 74-year-old contestants who have tried this, all but 3 drowned, and the 3 that didn't were hanged. But this 74-year-old man has a desperate desire to find out what he's going to win if he gets through the night alive. The 74-year-old man is now told that he's being wired up to a heart monitor to register his shock of delight when he receives his prize.
3, 2, 1, tiempo.
When you're a 74-year-old man who is almost drowned in concrete boots, you're not very interested in a prize like this. But the most terrifyingly beautiful of all the terrifyingly beautiful Spanish bimbos turns out not to be the prize at all. Instead, she is the ultimate ordeal. He has to survive the pressure of her sharply focused enticement without popping his clogs. There has been no previous 74-year-old contestant who has been able to survive her impact. But our man has what it takes, or rather, he hasn't. He remains heroically indifferent under extremes of torment that would have had the Spanish Inquisition on the rack with envy. The old boy puts a brave face on it, probably the only part of him that still works.
32 segundos.
Yes, it's been tough, but his toughest moment of the night comes at the end, with the realization that his prize isn't the terrifyingly beautiful bimbo who's trying to drive him crazy. It's a 1974 Ford Franco. Viva Televisión Muy Loco!